How do American hunters and farmers deal with millions of giant wild boars? Wild boars, or wild boars, are becoming a serious problem in many U.S. states. From the wheat fields of Texas to the jungles of Florida, wild boars have caused heavy crop damage, damaged ecosystems, and even threatened human safety. Faced with the increasing invasion of this animal, American hunters and farmers had to find ways to deal with and control the wild boar outbreak. The wild boar situation in the U.S. Wild boars are not native to America. They were brought from Europe in the 16th century, and have since bred with wild escaped domestic pigs. This combination produces a breed of wild boar that is healthy and able to reproduce very quickly. Currently, the number of wild boars in the U.S. is estimated to have reached about 6 million, widely distributed in at least 35 states. The problem becomes more serious when wild boars are highly adaptable to many different types of environments. They can live in dense forests, grasslands, and even wetlands. With rapid reproduction, a female wild boar can give birth to 2 to 3 litters per year, with 4 to 12 litters each. This rate of reproduction makes controlling the wild boar population an extremely difficult task. Damage caused by wild boars. Wild boars are omnivores, destroying crops, gnawing on tree roots, and consuming large amounts of food stored by farmers. Each year, wild boars cause about $2.5 billion in damage to the U.S. agricultural sector. In addition, they cause major environmental damage when digging through soil, unbalancing ecosystems, and threatening native animal species. More than just economic and environmental damage, wild boars are also a threat to human health. They are hosts for many dangerous diseases such as wild boar disease, brucellosis, and swine fever. These diseases can spread to humans and livestock, with serious consequences. Hunters the front line in the war against wild boars. In response to the boar boom, hunters were a key force in controlling the population of this animal. Many states in the U.S. have issued regulations allowing hunters to freely hunt wild boars year-round, without special licenses, to encourage them to participate in reducing wild boar numbers. Hunters use a variety of methods to hunt wild boars. One of the most popular methods is hunting at night with bright lights. Wild boars are primarily active at night, so hunting at this time gives hunters easier access to them. In addition, many hunters use traps and nets to catch wild boars. However, despite great efforts from hunters, controlling wild boars still faces many difficulties. The reason is because wild boars are very intelligent and have the ability to learn quickly. They can change their behavior to avoid traps and escape areas with many hunters. In addition, the complex and vast terrain of many areas in the U.S. also makes hunting wild boars more difficult. Farmers' strategies to protect crops. Besides hunting, farmers must also implement various measures to protect their crops against wild boar encroachment. One of the common measures is the use of electric fences. This type of fence can prevent wild boars from entering growing areas, but the installation and maintenance costs are quite high, making it unsuitable for all farmers. Some farmers have experimented with using sheepdogs to protect farms. Dogs are trained to repel wild boars and prevent them from approaching the growing area. This is a natural and effective method, but is not always successful, especially when wild boars move in large flocks. In addition, farmers must also use other measures such as repelling with sound, light, or chemicals. Some farmers have tried using sound generators to make loud noises to scare away wild boars. However, these measures have only a temporary effect and wild boars often return after the threat has passed. Scientific measures and support policies. Recognizing the serious nature of the problem, many scientific organizations and state governments have researched and tested more effective wild boar control measures. One of the potential measures being studied is the use of contraceptive pills specifically for wild boars, in order to control their reproductive rate. The federal government has also provided financial support to states heavily affected by wild boars, helping them implement animal control programs. In addition, authorities encourage collaboration between farmers, hunters, and scientists to develop more effective and sustainable measures. The fight against wild boars in the U.S. is still ongoing, and there are many challenges ahead. Despite significant efforts from hunters, farmers, and scientists, controlling wild boar populations remains a difficult and complex task. However, with close coordination and diverse measures, the American people hope to gradually bring this problem under control, protecting their crops and habitat against the invasion of the giant wild boar. Below are the detailed ways they use to hunt and control this animal. 1. Gun hunting. A use of modern weapons. hunting wild boars with guns is the most common method. Hunters often use semi-automatic rifles or specialized hunting rifles with large bullets to ensure enough power to take down large wild boars. Some common weapons include the AR-15, AR-10, and Winchester rifle. Guns with sights and silencers were also used to increase accuracy and minimize noise, giving hunters closer access to the pigs without causing panic. Night hunting. Wild boars are mainly active at night, so hunting at this time is chosen by many hunters. They use powerful lights, gun flashlights, and night vision or thermal optics to detect and track wild boars in the dark. These devices allow hunters to clearly see targets even in low light conditions. 2. Use traps. A cage trap. Cage traps are one of the most effective methods for capturing wild boar alive. Trap cages are designed with automatic trapdoors, usually trapdoors that can close as soon as the boar enters. Inside the cage, bait such as corn, potatoes, or fruit is often placed to lure pigs in. Trap cages are placed in areas where wild boars often pass by, such as near water sources or on the way to feed. Rope trap. Rope traps, or noose traps, are a traditional method, but are still widely used. A noose is placed in the pathways of wild boars, and when they pass through and stretch the rope, the noose will tighten around the pig's legs or neck, holding them back. Wire traps are often used in combination with decoys to increase the likelihood of success. 3. Use of hounds. Hounds are trained to hunt down and attack wild boars, which is one of the classic but very effective methods. Hunters often use highly predatory breeds, such as the pit bull, coonhound, or Rhodesian ridgeback. These dogs are trained to sniff and chase wild boars, then restrain them until hunters arrive to take them down or capture them alive. There are two common types of dog hunting. A. Flying dogs. These dogs are trained to track tracks and lead hunters to the boar's location. They do not directly attack, but simply surround and hold the boar in place. B. Catch dogs. Once located, the hunter will release the catch dogs, which will rush in and bite the boar's ears or neck, restraining them until the hunter reaches the end job. 4. Helicopter hunting. In large areas such as Texas, helicopters are used to hunt wild boar. This method is particularly effective where the terrain is difficult, where access by road is very limited. From the air, hunters can easily detect and track moving wild boars. Helicopters are often equipped with heat detection devices to easily locate wild boars, even when they hide in the jungle. Hunters from helicopters use semi-automatic rifles or shotguns, fired from above to take down wild boars as they move. This method helps control large numbers of wild boars in a short time, but the implementation cost is high, and only applies in special areas. 5. Using electronic traps. Electronic trapping is a modern and effective method, controlled remotely by a smartphone application. These traps are equipped with cameras and sensors, which help monitor wild boar activity from afar. When detecting a herd of pigs entering the trap area, hunters can remotely activate the trap to close the door and capture the entire herd. This method minimizes direct human intervention and increases the likelihood of capturing multiple animals at the same time. However, the cost of installing and operating electronic traps is quite high, so this method is often used by large organizations or wild boar control projects with abundant budgets. 6. Use of lures and chemical traps. Some studies have tested the use of chemical decoys to control wild boars. Decoys are laced with birth control pills or substances that are harmful to wild boars but do not affect other animals. When wild boars ingest decoys, they will have limited ability to reproduce or die. However, the use of chemicals should be strictly controlled to avoid harm to the environment and non-target animals. The fight against wild boars in America is a difficult task and requires a combination of different methods. From hunting with guns, using traps, to modern methods such as helicopters and electronic traps, hunters and farmers have made constant efforts to control outbreaks of this species.